That broken down and defeated, detergent, busy and confused, sleeping. You're dying while I wait you to get started. On the journey chosen, wasted, no selected. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky. Crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile. Silver sand jaded. Then upcoming, they're broken down and defeated. You are dying while I wait you to get started. You are dying while I wait you to get started. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky, yeah. Crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile.
I'm a motherfucking unicorn, a one-of-one. Divide being the love and light, then light and one. My karma is interstellar, I live by truth. Fighting evil, my scars are living proof. Protecting you from the storms with all my might. Love me, I will treat you right. You ever cross me, it's the last thing you'll ever do. With my crown of thorns, I'll wreck you. I ain't playing, yo, Bryan hard, call me a saint. Too bad Chris, because Bigfoot knows my name. I'm a messenger of God, with loyalty I serve. Taking out all evil with his holy word. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand. Slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC. So listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand. Slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC. So listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Oh, I'm reading the chat. I am so screwed, it's beyond belief. Yeah, Greg's in the chat, and I know it's coming, Greg. I know it. It's gonna be something birthday related, creamy, whatever it is. Little running joke. How are you, Mark?
Doing okay.
This
How's
is one of our
everything in
yeah.
Florida?
It's cold, it's hot, it's cold, it's hot. It's better than where you are, and everybody else is
Yeah.
up, where it's really, really cold this winter. I think they're messing with us. I think people are trying to unalive most of the United States, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I think, we can go back to your fascinating discussion from over the summer with Michelle and Wayne about weaponized weather.
Yeah, we already got one strike. We already got taken down on Facebook because I showed parts of my presentation at the Relic Films and Media premiere in Paracon. And yes, here it is. Everybody, you can see it. I know he owes me. I know it's coming. I know it's gonna be messy, and it's fine. Jokes are jokes, so we're good. So, but
Is it going to be moist?
Greg's moist. Greg's very moist. I think it's freaking hysterical though. But I almost lost my shit when the last time. It's a birthday joke thing. Someone's birthday when it's not your birthday. Yeah. But they brought out the sombrero. I didn't know they were going to do that whole thing with the cream, Greg. I swear to God. That was like the cherry on top, but I know it's coming. So I'm just waiting. Pie in the face. I don't know. The whipped cream pie. Right there. Whatever it is. So I deserve it. Tit for tat. Tat for tit. But we're doing these special shows every once in a while. This is season 2's special guest number 2 on this show, Christopher Mason, who's a great guy. I've known him for a while, and I was wanting to get him on to talk about what he's doing now because he does so many different things. But before we do that, I have to put this crap up because some people are just fucking idiots. So here, it's 23 seconds. Enjoy.
The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect that of the network, its employees, and its officers. Furthermore, the views and opinions expressed by the guests do not necessarily state or reflect that of the host, the show, the management. As always, do your own research with regards to everything presented in the broadcast. Viewer discretion is always advised.
Yeah. Maybe some intelligence too. Hey, Whispering Portals, welcome. Amy Creel's here. Look at this. San Kudo is here, also known as a different name, but we won't reveal who you really are. But I think we're gonna have a good show. We're gonna do this. We're every once in a while where I don't really necessarily want to do the 8:00 hour on a Monday, but I don't think I'm competing with any of the other, and I like to call the network Misfit Toys or whatever. I don't like competing with anybody. Not that we're competition, but I want as many people to get to their broadcast as well. And I appreciate everybody that has liked, commented, subscribed, shared it. Valentine's Day is coming up, or as Mark likes to call it, VD. And this a subscription to Third Eye Live at youtube.com/@Bryan Bowden, because I'm doing it under my channel because I'm not promoting any other fucking channels anymore. It's free and it's a gift that keeps on giving. So that's it. What else is going on, Mark? How's the temperature? How's the temperature in West Virginia? You didn't watch the Super Bowl, did you?
Yeah, it's the Super Bowl. I was busy editing.
Your book 14.
Part 2. But I think today was the first day in nearly a month that it was above freezing. I've fed the deer, birds, and squirrels in the two location. Like
Right.
one's right out in here in the driveway. Uh, about 4 times today. So I'm kind of going through a 40-pound bag of bird seed in about 2 days. Um,
Wow.
but it's I'm glad my neighbor comes over and plows the driveway. But
Oh, you got one of those good neighbors?
yeah, and
That's great.
he's nice enough to uh, get plow all the snow off. But there's been so much that he can only push it so far up the like driveway extension, which has
Yeah.
created this wall uh, getting to the bird feeder. So I just dump the uh,
Maybe you need a Sherpa on that wall.
yeah
Come on, Mr. Mark, you can do it.
yeah uh,
Mr. Mark.
yeah. So I just dump it out on the driveway down here and on the back steps, and uh, it brings in all kinds of critters close to the house. It's nice to watch them. So about 4 deer and a buck
That
come
sounds like a
over.
country western song.
You know,
And are those happy critters?
I think they're happy critters. Um, after after they leave, they aren't the hungry old critters, but
They're not
they're
hungry old critters? No?
but yeah, they're happy with the a bird seed. So it's a nice day. Just sitting there watching all kinds of wildlife.
That's not bad. That
Yeah,
is not bad at all. I
went down.
tried to I got a new, little computer or something like that, yeah, because this one is just it's had its fair share. I haven't gotten one in a while, and the battery's going, so I've been, like, taking my time, like, ever since coming back from the conference and doing stuff. It's been cold. I mean, I'm not
Mm.
complaining. Happy birthday. Whose birthday? Two Shadows? Welcome. Let me see. I'm just checking some of the chat while we're here too. Um, but you gotta figure out what to do. Oh, they stopped by before going to bed. Hope you have a good day at school tomorrow. No, seriously. Um, Michelle and Wayne, we should interview the band.
I was just
Think
thinking.
that would be great. Wayne used to be in a metal band. They were very successful records, the contract type of stuff, and they were doing what they do. And something happened, unfortunately, someone took ill, and he couldn't go out. So but I would, they're doing it again 30 years later, right? It's never. Yeah, we could do that. That's freaking awesome. By the way, I got this from one of my buddies today or the other day. He sends me the Bronx is 0 degrees, and I told him that's because you're all losers. So he's back in the old neighborhood, and I said, "Why don't you come down here? Your birthday's coming up." But I would love to do that, because we love doing music on this show. It's not just, yeah, you just can't stop the jam. I remembered, I don't know if you remember seeing that movie with Christian Slater, Pump Up the Volume. Anybody? Anybody? No?
And I think I remember the title.
Well, in a great title. It's about a kid comes in and has like a pirate radio station. It was freaking awesome. And in there, the soundtrack is great. And there's one song which opens up, "Kick out the jams, motherfucker." That's it. It's a heavy driving song. But yeah, you cannot stop the jam. This is great. I'm looking forward to see what these guys doing. They're older now. They don't have Wayne didn't have the hair to begin with back then. He just had the, whatever. But it's going to be good. Have fun. UFOs are here. Nice. Michigan UFOs. But I think we got a great show tonight. And I'm going to remove this piece of it, remove from the studio. I did not watch Bad Bunny. I didn't care to watch Bad Bunny. Lo sientos.
I'd rather see Wayne's band. For the halftime show.
Yeah, I mean, it's Vegas people were pissed. New England wasn't even in the stadium. They got crushed.
And next year they ought to just have Judas Priest as.
Oh, that would be great.
The halftime show.
Oh, that would be great. Judas Priest is the halftime show. Oh man, you're getting me excited, but they won't do that. They'll put up some other person that's either going to do something for the left side of the equation, or communism, or whatever, or satanic. That's what it becomes these days. It's really crazy. You know what? They gave KISS shit back in the 70s saying that KISS stands for Knights in Satan's Service or something like that. So further from the truth, it's beyond belief. But talking about music, creativity, inspirations, books, everything. Let's bring our guest on. I've known him for a ton of years. He's a really, really great guy. And we'll bring him on. He's praying right now in the background. But what we're doing is we're doing these shows 3:00 usually on a Thursday, and that's for the UK people. And sometimes we'll do it 3 on a Monday. So just hang with us. We're trying to throw some more people into the mix without having them have to stay up till 4 a.m. to get on the show, especially with the European market. Sorry for coughing. I swallowed a Tic Tac the wrong way. But let's welcome Christopher Mason to the show. Chris, welcome to Third Eye Live.
Hi, Chris.
Welcome, right? Hey, guys, what's going on? I must say,
you are the special guest today.
I am the special guest.
Yes.
I'm the mystery guest of honor, right? One of the best podcast intros I ever heard, by the way.
Thank you.
I was grooving to that. Both songs, just, get the adrenaline pumping. You talk about Judas Priest at next year's Super Bowl. Yeah, I would love to hear You've Got Another Thing Coming or Breaking the Law. Two amazing songs to have for that.
God.
Fingers
Rob
crossed.
would be great. Hopefully
it would be. It so much would be, man. Well, it's great to be here, seriously. And good evening to everybody listening in. This is an honor. I'm glad to be here. Thank you again, Bryan. Thank you again, Mark. I'm happy to be here at your service.
Oh, I appreciate it. Well, Chris goes by many, many different names. It's just what he does, But one of the things I love, I met Chris way back when, a long time ago. And
God, that decade ago, man.
Yeah, and he's doing some research and investigating of the paranormal. Really got into it, and then he started his Venomous Fringe, I believe it was, or was that was the first one?
That was the first one.
Let me tell you, he put together an incredible broadcast on YouTube. Really well put together. Great. He does narration, and he does some acting as well. And you can tell that because it's all professionally polished. But he was a cryptid researcher and investigator, and he was just fantastic in his own right. So, what are you doing now?
Yeah. So what's new? I mean, it's been almost, God, I think the last time you and me did a podcast together was like almost 5 years ago. So it's been quite a minute since we've done this. And
yeah,
last time I physically had done everything, it was kind of around that same time period, because I had spent the last couple of years just on TikTok, just, experimenting with a couple things, and, as some unsuccessful misfires there and there, now I'm currently doing something, Wickerstatic. And that show is a narration for both non and regular fiction The difference between where I would bend the line is where I would just admit through the simplicity, either in description or in a disclaimer of an opening, that this is a fictitious tale or this is a simply non-fictitious
Right.
tale. I mean, common sense speaks for its value, even though that nowadays it could be very easy to mislead. So that's what we're currently doing now, a narration dedicated to all things spooky, cryptids, paranormal, UFOs, true crime. And this all stems from my ideas that I've had for years. I've always been a writer, I've always worked on specific things, I've always been big with horror. Now I've recently gotten into the more alternative gothic scenery with things, and that's kind of been about 6 years in the making. And I've been focusing my craft on just telling stories and making content that is, while we've seen it before, and sure, there have been a lot more pioneers and trailblazers for this, it's the notion that I have a certain style like everybody else. And one of the things that I like to do, in which you and I spoke about in the pre-show, is I'm always adapting. I feel like if you don't adapt, especially with the new times, things are going to start to feel old and it just doesn't feel right. I know, coming from someone who wakes up a little bit with a cracked back now, with a back feeling a little recluse, that things get old. And, for me at least. But one thing I will say is that what I'm doing now, I'm much happier with. And it's also not just narration. I mentioned this in the pre-show as well, which I'll confirm.
Right.
We're doing interviews as well, but that's just for all those creepy, crazy things, all the things that bump into the night. And I'll also be documenting some experiences there on my channel that I'll be doing, because I'll be going out doing some events. I plan to go to Point Pleasant in the summer, Point
Yeah,
Pleasant, West
I just
Virginia.
saw, yeah, I just saw you
Exact.
post that, which is
Yeah.
interesting because you'll be closer to Mark, or as he's known
Yes.
on here, the gangster psychic.
Yeah, it's
And
And
about
yeah,
Point Pleasant's only about 3 hours from me.
that's nothing
seven and a
in
half for me. And that's coming from someone in New
pick him
Jersey.
up,
But
cut through, pick him up.
yeah,
No.
no, I
Uh,
would. I would, because
yeah,
it's on the way from where he's at. So
yeah, we could arrange that trip. But what I loved, so Chris has written a children's book. He's an artist, right? First and foremost, an artist and a creator. And I love that about people because I think one of the problems we have in society in the world today is we stop using these and this. And when you're an artist and you're a creator, you hemisync your brain because you're using two sides of it. Women usually use two sides of it. Men usually use one side of the hemisphere, or one hemisphere, unless you're a quantitative, artistic, scientific musician, then you start using two. But when we stop using our hands to do things in the field or cutting trees down or whatever, there's a part of our world and our soul that has just gone away. But one thing that Chris does as an artist, not only does he do, he's writing screenplays, right? You've
yes.
written
Yep.
shows. You're you're creating books. You're apparently we'll talk about the new one coming out or eventually coming out. You're on soon. But this is what I love about Chris. He's always reinventing himself and the media and the medium, actually. So I'm glad you're going on the road trip to Point Pleasant. What are you planning on catching down there?
So it's funny because, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, for everybody whom I know best, of course, Mark, I know you know, I know Brian, I know you know, but the Mothman, I mean, clearly, I've always wanted to explore the museum. I've always wanted to talk with Jeff Walmsley, the curator of the museum, founder. He's an author as well. And I've always wanted to really just kind of look at the scenery and just explore it and just say, hey, all this jazz that has been brought upon this small town that's right across from Ohio. And to think, right, so much lore and mystery in the span of almost 400 years, going back to the native times. And, just to kind of figure out what is so special and spontaneous, because I've read all the stories, I've read the books. John Keel's Mothman Prophecies is in my top 10 for books of all time related to cryptid and paranormal related matter. And I just want to take this opportunity to spend a 5-day week there and just explore the town. I mean, obviously I've heard all the stories. Some people, when people can tell when you're not from town or you're not from the area. And do I go in there with that state of mind where I should just say, hey, I'm curious to know this and that? No, I want to get to know the people. I want to get to know the area. I don't want to just come off like I'm some sort of PI, because that's not part of the job. Part of it is, to get to know the town, get to know the people. But then also when it gets time for when it turns the lights off and it gets dark out, that's when it's time to rock and roll. And I'm the type of explorer. I'm an urban explorer. I've visited sanitariums. I've visited abandoned hospitals. I've had the pleasure of going through Eastern State Penitentiary with a tour guide during the day and night before it was terror behind the walls. And as well as just wanting to just kind of pique my interest to say, hey, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're trying to identify with here. All this lore, all the mystery. And it is risky. And some things you're taking a big chance with. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not going to get anywhere as close to where I want to get to if I want to. But I could tell you one thing, that every night I will be taking a look into that area, that infamous TNT area, and checking the places out. I don't know how it's going to go down, but I can assure you, I think people also, like, I can assure this, if I wanted to go out physically to say I want to find the Mothman, I mean, that's just anybody. I think that can go out and say I want to go find Bigfoot or Dogman. For me, it's the experience. I want to see the creepiness, the atmosphere, even take pictures, just because I'm that type of explorer. I love goth culture. I love the alternative culture. I love black and white photography. I'm very huge into noir. And I really think it's a great opportunity to really go out and say, hey, man, you want to go to a nice location that feels like it's a horror show. There it is right there. And
Yeah,
the
seriously.
biggest thing about all that, I personally would want to also go and tell people, because I plan on writing another book. It would be the title of it 100% would be called I Left My Heart in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, because I feel like that would be the great memoir to my experiences there. And I want to just, not to put it out there to say, hey guys, read my book, appreciate the book or whatever. It's to show, hey, this was my first experiences there. And if that inspires you to, hey, I want to go out and do this or go out and do that, go for it, because that's part of the experience. And it's me also pushing myself to my limit to say, hey, you ready for that 7.5 hour trip, Chris, to go out and do what you got to do? Because it's going to be one heck of a trip, plus also coming back and, knowing it's going to be another 7.5 hours. I was in Ohio for other things as well, just recently. So the drive is one thing, but it's that experience and then getting to put yourself into that position of, okay, this is
Yeah.
what this is about. But that's kind of that's the real reason why I'm going. It's just for that experience. It's not to, go find the Mothman, because I'll be honest with you, I highly doubt I will. I mean, the most I might find is the statue, which I've always wanted to get a picture of. So I was originally going to do this in April, but I realized with how cold it is with everything, even over by me, I mean, we're reaching 9 degrees. I would
Right.
rather, sit there and wait until the summertime where it's the perfect opportunity,
Well, I mean, I think the perfect opportunity, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, is around the Mothman Festival.
That's the third week of September.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. But I think that if you came in like because you want to go to certain places, and Mark, you've been there. Are they more lenient when it comes to the festival at certain locations, like the former TNT factory and some
there-
other locations?
Yeah, there are trips to the TNT area.
So it's okay. So you can get in there. You don't have to do a trespass type of situation, right?
Yeah, I don't know about right now if you can, just anyone can go back there
Right.
right now. But during the festival, there are trips that go from town up to the TNT area, and there are
Dynamite. Sorry, every time I hear TNT, I have to.
there
Well, AC/DC folks. That's it.
are sightings of the Mothman
Right.
for the visitors. But it's the whole area is like now might be a good time to come down for a visit because you don't have the leaves on the trees that could be uh, hiding place for the Mothman.
Yeah.
This is the time of the year when I try to go out and get um, some of my photos, but then that's more of uh, like river terraces. That's how boring my
Yeah.
life is.
Yeah.
But
That's Mark's boring life right there.
yeah, but now's a
Coming
good
soon to
time to
Netflix.
uh, come down because you do get to see how expansive the or the two river valleys are. Um,
Right.
and it's all the people were very nice. You get the museum seems like it's pretty busy throughout the uh, day. Anyways, you get
Right.
some nice restaurants. Uh,
Well, I mean, you know what? You're gonna take the 7-hour trip, and you're just gonna have a blast. What I love about this, and
it's worth it.
um, you know what? All these trips are worth it. I just came back from Alabama. Presented at the Vanished premiere in Paracon. It was great. It was freezing. Um, and Relic Film and Media, who's in there, Greg did a great job with Natalie and the crew at Relic Films to put together a fantastic Paracon. Everybody was great. The presentations were great. I didn't get anybody kicked off of Facebook at that point because it was, it was kind of graphic. But you know, Mike was just this, he gives you credit. Could also be hiding in caves now to get out of the snow and cold. We truly don't know what's going on or how it exists. That's exactly the same reason, like you kind of have to go multiple times a year to see the difference between when we had a winter, spring, summer, fall. But going on a trip is important. Sometimes it's getting out of the house, that positive momentum. And you don't have to spend money, by the way. I mean, the only thing you spend is really on gas or whatever. Hey, Andrew. But you can just, I love to, everybody's like, how do you know all these places? And when I get to a new place, I go and explore. I just drive, and that's how you get to know places. Like, how do you know this shortcut? So it's, if you don't know, if you don't explore, we're built for exploration, not really comfort and sitting in the home. What do you think, Chris? I mean, is this part of the reason, like, that Lewis and Clark, who are crazy motherfuckers, by the way, just go out to Missouri, you'll understand why. Yeah, people in Missouri is great, lovely people, wonderful. I'm with my heart love a bunch of them, but you got to be crazy if you were Lewis and Clark what you did. So your take on the ventures.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for us as, researchers, people out there who are trying to figure out, like, what's the best way to, start a nice start in research. Because it's funny because there was this time I had a guy reach out to me about a couple years ago, and they reached out to me on TikTok and they asked me, it's like, hey, do you go out and, you touch a lot of base on, the cryptid stuff? Do you research? And I was like, I used to do Venomous Fringe and used to do this podcast, back in the 2010s. And a part of me going out and doing the show was me researching as well and, giving me my analysis on stuff and everything. And I even said to them, I said, the best thing I can tell you is whatever's in your area. This guy was from Arkansas. So the only thing I could think about from the top of my head was the Falcon Monster. And I said to him, I said, take a look at a couple of your interstate routes, preferably with a lot of acre, and then also investigate a lot of the formal norms, especially in parks, especially if you can hear activity from no animal whatsoever, no birds, no chip chaps from squirrel, anything. Further, especially if you start to realize, and Mike Patrick showed me this, was about alphabetical markings in the twigs, which, when him and I investigated back in Manatego Park back in 2021, he he noticed this along with me. He showed me this, and that's something big as well. I've also encouraged that in a few other shows I've done. And, like I tell people all the time, adventures are important for your life because that's part of adulthood. I feel like if you coop yourself in the house for so long, and this is from experience, you're just going to go crazy because
Yeah.
the same four walls you see are not going to protect you forever. And besides, I mean, going out to do stuff like this is thrilling to me. I've always loved to explore. And I think for a person my age, I think it's important to use your youth to your advantage, especially now. And I just want to just do things I want to do. I have no family, meaning, I don't have no kids. I'm not married.
Right.
And
Yeah.
not maybe. Well, we'll get to that. That's another
Yeah.
podcast. That's another one. But I will say this though. I'm so
Right.
focused on myself right now. I don't even have time for any of that. And personally, I'm just
That's
ready to
that's
just, like,
great.
yeah.
No, that's and we've had Chris and I have had many conversations. And when you are in a position where things aren't going right and you're negative and and he was there and in a dark and I've been through a ton of that even this year for what it is.
Oh yeah.
When you can't see that light at the end of the tunnel, or you think the light at the end of the tunnel is a freaking train, it's kind of hard to remain positive. But this too shall pass, and I believe I was right. I said just keep going, don't give in. Tomorrow's another day. You never know what tomorrow brings.
100% right. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a couple of times when I was driving from Florida back to New York, and I got to my halfway spot, and it's like 1 a.m, and I got to get up early to drive to the rest of the way. And I had you on the phone, and I'm like, no, I'm not getting off the phone. I need to talk to it, talk with them. And we talked, and it was just, that's what you do. But something interesting because of travels, when I was in at the Crossing Realms conference this year in Richmond, Missouri, where a lot of the people in this chat I've met personally, and they're all just sweet, wonderful, incredible human beings, and I have much love for them. Especially also, I met Greg and I met Natalie and the Blondes and Booze, which was at that time Krista and Brandy. Now it's Krista, Brandy, Natalie, Mary Lynn. And I met everybody. I mean, like there's tons Tex and Monica. And so when I was coming back, I technically didn't want to go through what they classify as the dirty South, which is basically from Alabama all the way over till you hit Texas. I have New York plates, folks, on the car, and they go back to the Bronx. Not a good look. Hey, Paul, welcome. And I did meet Paul as well. Sorry, brother, don't kill me. But when I was coming back, somehow I got on the like the local roads, and it does take longer. But I went through, and there's Muddy Waters Homestead, Muscle Shoals for music, Johnny Cash's Homestead, and then just for the first time in my life, and I know this is insignificant to everybody that has seen it, but I've read about cotton fields, but I've never seen one. And there they are, and it's like, I'm like, wow, that would suck picking. And Brent. Yes, I did meet Brent. Brent and his family was awesome. But one of the cool things is I'm driving on a 2-lane road, right? And it's like, on the in Alabama getting into Georgia, because I was staying in Atlanta. So they took me a back roads. And as I'm driving, you can't pull over at that road. You have to have like someone's driveway to go down, or it has to be like a business. Otherwise, it's like a real steep culvert, and you're going to call the wrecker. There's no way you're getting out of that freaking thing. But I'm driving, and the next thing I know, right in front of my car, from the driver's side all the way to the passenger side, I'm like, holy shit, that's a pterodactyl. And it was It was kind of like darkish, greenish, black in color with little dots on it, and the wings came out, and they came, from a significant point to a point, and then the beak was there in the back, and I'm like, that's a freaking pterodactyl. So Greg has actually told me that there's a couple of reports of pterodactyls in that area, which is very interesting. I didn't go research it too much further, but when I was at like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, at the Vanished premiere in Paracon, I guess I don't remember the lady's name. She just came over to me and started talking like, "You're the guy that saw the pterodactyl," and I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And she tells me this really cool story where she was she was dating this guy and they were almost engaged and they're driving and this like pterodactyl flies in front of their car and they never stopped and they're looking at it and they're watching it fly across, and then there's this big flash and it kind of goes into something and it freezes for a second, and then after a couple of seconds it goes into the flash and it disappears. So they get home and the boyfriend doesn't want to talk about it. Because he was born, King James Bible Christian, and this is not how it's supposed to be. God created heaven and earth, the man, and there's no such thing as this shit. It's his belief system. He grew up that way, and this just countered everything he was taught his whole entire life. And she said, let's just I'll go over here, you go over there, and let's draw what we saw. And he didn't really want to do it, but she said, please just do it for me. So they go and they start drawing. And then they compared, they both had the same thing. He could not, this threw him so bad. Because it took everything he's learned about God and Jesus and that Christian value and put a big question mark. Because this shouldn't exist.
Isn't there a brontosaurus in the book of Job?
I think there is. Actually,
Seems
I don't really. I mean, it's been a while since I've read it. I thought you were going to talk about Mkembe Mbumbo.
No,
whatever it's called over in Africa, which is like
there's a some kind of critter that seems like a brontosaurus in the Nile. It's like a dwarfed version, but you do get that in.
It's a doodle version, like anytime something comes out, it's like, let's make it into a doodle. Like if they were going to make you'd be like, it's a doodle version of Mark Eddy. And you'd have like this Jerry curl type of curls, and you'd all be soft, and you'd be afraid of your own shadow, like the Australian Labradoodle I have. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, whatever. But I mean, I don't want to do Bible study right now, but I'm going to go read the book of Job again. Description.
Hang on a second.
Sure. Yes, I'm close to you, Woo, by the way. Yeah. Oh, you're 40 southwest of St. Augustine. Sorry, Chris. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to.
You're what? No, I'm just kidding. You're good.
Chat is. Here's what's fucked up. So the chat on StreamYard right now, folks, is super, super behind the actual chat in YouTube. So please forgive me.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh,
if anything, I'm listening.
Here we go.
Something new.
So Bamora says, I know there's a brontosaurus looking beast in a classic painting, but I don't remember the artwork. It's a scene of a battle. That's interesting.
Yeah,
See, this is good stuff for you, Chris, to take this and like develop these stories around something like,
But isn't it interesting?
Brontosaurus and get in there and fight at Gettysburg.
Yeah, isn't it interesting that we can do shows about UFOs in the Bible, no one objects to that, but you bring up a dinosaur in the Bible. Oh, yeah, that's blasphemy.
I don't, look, I'm a spiritual person. I'm also an ordained minister, but I'm spiritual. And I follow Judeo-Christian values, like things besides the Knights Templar thing, which is totally different. That's a hell of a lot more enlightenment. Oh, here we go.
It's the behemoth in the book of Job, chapter 40.
Let me see if we can get an image of, whatever.
I was trying to surf
Behemoth.
for that painting too.
In the book
His tail is
of
as
Job.
stiff as a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are tightly knit. His vertebrae are bronze tubing. His bones as hard as hammered iron. He is the masterpiece of all God's work. But his maker threatened him with the sword, forbidding him the mountain regions.
Right.
You know,
For a second there, I thought we were going to get banned again. You start talking about loins and stuff. I'm like, oh, here we go.
No.
A Jordan could, as in the river, could pour down his throat without his caring. So what kind of creature is it? He lies beneath the lotus
Right.
and hides among the reeds in the swamps. So what? If he's short, small enough to lay under a lotus tree,
Right.
it might be like de-evolution going on, that it's not as
Right.
big as the Jurassic Park brontosaurus. But what kind of animal is being discussed 3,000 years ago?
Here it is. Thank you, Michelle. Job 40:15-24 described as a behemoth. Behemoth Rhapsody.
Behemoth.
I see a little silhouette.
So what is it? What is is Mothman some kind of evolutionary type of mutation or something? Could he be a pterodactyl?
He could be a pterodactyl. I mean, some of it's like almost like a brontosaurus if we're scrolling through things right here.
Right.
The other one down here where it says behold the behemoth, with at the bottom right, I believe. It kind of looks like a T-Rex,
And
it was very interesting to hear Doc Skinner the other day talking about how the T-Rexes apparently, and this is coming from him, I can't prove it or whatever, but it was really interesting because it kind of explained certain things, that they had wings. T-Rexes had wings. Hey, Poncho, welcome. So could the T-Rex have had a wing?
Possible. There's a lot of open doors to that. And
Yeah.
even it's
Hey,
funny.
Marianne.
People in dreams too often have these strange dreams. I've had them multiple times where animals might look a bit different than animals perceived in real life. For example, I've had dreams of pigs with wings, ironically. And
You listen to Pink Floyd at all?
I was waiting for you to say that. I was like, I know if somebody in chat or you were going to straight up say when pigs fly.
Pink Floyd has wing.
I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, not lie.
Yeah.
But ironically, no. It was actually coming back from a night coming from Pomona all the way up from, down in South Jersey, Cumberland, getting myself back up to Ocean.
Right.
And I just crashed and fell asleep. And I just had this dream of this pig with wings. And I was in a barn. And I was like, what's going on here? The significance. And then I was with somebody at the time, and next thing you know, we're going to a farm the next day. So I was thinking maybe it was just, deja vu or some crap like that. But it was it's so sensational, like the meaning of what it was trying to be perceived and said. And keep in mind that this was in a time where I was still doing the Venomous Fringe, so
Right.
I was already having weird dreams, and also, I forgot the exact chemical in our brain, but I guess when we are so aligned with a thought,
DMT. No,
is that what?
I think it is DMT.
Yeah, I mean, it might. I mean, I've met some people who swear it's there, just a chemical activated cell. No, I'm just kidding. But
Well, that's what there's 2 crystals in your pineal gland,
Mhm.
and when
Yeah.
they vibrate, one of the things they do is they help that area create DMT, natural DMT. And that's what gets rid of the stuff that not just the calcifying, but anything else that would interfere with the signal. And this is how you're supposed to connect to the higher power in most part. On a side note, I have to say this. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm sharing something right now. I just started watching. I just have to let people know. I started watching something today that is out of this freaking world, and you got to go see it. It's Para with a Normal, and Marilyn just came in, and it's her and Michael in on this, and Marilyn, this is some of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life in this show so far. It is genius, and it's being broadcast on Beacon TV. It's a streaming platform. Season 1 is available to you to watch. It's out of this world.
Is it like a comedy, or is it like a
No, it's Mary Lynn is coming on a show, and God
Okay.
bless. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Amazing psychic. She
Mhm.
does paintings too. She's a she interprets. She gets the impressions, puts it in paintings, individual paintings, and then she'll also look at for the interpretation from it. But she's been filming. I think they're on season 2. I don't know
Oh,
if
cool.
Marilyn's in this chat. I'm right here. I'm trying to figure out where everybody is. But Michael, and I want to pronounce Mike's name again properly because I don't want to screw that up. But it's Marilyn Bass and Michael Galino. Galano. Sorry
That's
about that,
pretty
Michael.
cool. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I'm watching it and I'm sitting waiting to pick up my daughter from the car, and it's freaking brilliant, guys. Please go watch it. I promise you, no, you don't have to pay for season 1. Go to Beacon TV, Para with a Normal. It's freaking awesome. Now back to the regular scheduled program. I will say I'll put a link in the chat just so everybody can see it.
That's probably the neatest advertising, I think, in the midst of a show, because it's like you don't pause for anything. We just get right to the business.
No, I saw her come into the chat, and she's a wonderful. I mean, she's freaking amazing.
I
Actually,
think that's pretty cool, though. And I have to check
something
it
was-
out.
Yeah, something was interesting. In the first episode, not giving anything away, but when she gets stuff, I thought it was the only one, but I get goose pimples. I start getting goose pimples, and I know that's the moment when I know previously before I started working whatever the craft is. Hey Michelle, she's good. She's a great psychic too, by the way. Before I decided to start working and I'm better at what I do, that was like, oh, the shit's gonna hit the fan soon. That was a tell. And it still happens when, like, I walked into the Clay Museum in Richmond, Missouri. The minute I stepped over that threshold, it's just like goose ooze went up my back. I was like, oh my God. And you can feel the energy in that place. So it's a long trip. It's more than 7 hours. It's 22 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, just to quickly cover our bases, there's the a stegosaurus at that Angkor Wat temple in Cambodia. What that was built, like 1,000 years ago. How I don't know when the first Stegosaurus skeleton was assembled, but why is there a little sculpture, and it's very accurate of a Stegosaurus?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. It's pretty
I mean,
Which one was this, by the way? I just
it's-
dinosaur of the foam.
so when was the church built? Like 1,000, and there's like people say, well, it's not a Stegosaurus. Okay, well, it's not a goat.
Mhm.
Like, what is it?
playing guess what it is.
That's 840 years ago.
Okay,
worth of-
so they died out millions of years ago. So
Mhm.
when was the first fossil found? If it's not a Stegosaurus, then what was it?
Something. Take a look here.
Well, Marco's we were talking about Mark's books that are out, a lot more academic, but
Right.
great books putting West Virginia on the map. And you mentioned something to me, Mark, about someone reporting dinosaurs appearing during one of the Indian Wars or French.
Oh, so yeah, that goes back to an interview I did. Geez, probably
Yeah.
close to 10 years ago. There's supposedly one of the people in the Battle of Fallen Timbers.
Oh, okay,
like one
yeah.
of the soldiers. Kept a journal, and he wrote in there that after the battle, or while they were walking towards where the battle would be in the northwestern part of Ohio, like the Toledo area, that they saw a mammoth or mastodon. So we're kind of looking at, did they survive up into
A certain point.
like the 1750s or 60s?
Apparently, I mean,
that was
writing about it, right?
Yeah, that was he said he encountered the soldier's journal. I don't remember. Is it Colonel Jones or something? I don't remember the name. I was just going by Joe's
Right.
description. Joe did a lot of work on making plaster casts of the dinosaur skeletons that
I can see right now you and Chris working together on a series where you write. Chris was like, you get all these weird stories, and you put it out with like both of you, like Chris narrating over one way, and then you sitting there with like, I don't know, a sifter of brandy and maybe a pipe, even though you don't drink and smoke at all, and you just discussing all this stuff on a highbrow way. With your graphics in the background.
Use this prop.
But they're Michelle posted a biblical passage for the viewers. You just really have to wonder what are some of the animals that people saw thousands of years ago is are they still around? Have they gone extinct? You get the like coelacanth.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with the Mothman. So Chris is going to see with the determination. I'm assuming, Chris, you're putting it out there. That energy. I
Oh, yeah.
want an interaction with you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when the intent is put out there and it's positive and you keep sending that out there is usually a point where that a message to X, Y, or Z gets received by them, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, I'll show up. What's up, bro?" It's coming across his car or whatever. And then he has another. Chris is, dude. As far as storytelling is concerned, narration, and then all the accoutrement that goes with it, and how you present it, it would be freaking off the chart. Your stuff would go crazy. I mean, I know what Chris does when you got to check out. We put a link into the link tree in there so you can see everything he's doing, which is important. But I think we went to your YouTube channel. Nope, that's Paranormal Pull, and you can go to Paranormal. But I'm going to go to Instagram and share that while we're there. Chris puts out some amazing content, like really, really amazing. I'm not kidding, and I don't get paid by him. There's nothing. I'm not getting paid by Chris. This is his account on Instagram. He did this whole. How do you pronounce it?
Segador. It's reaper in Latin.
Yes. So he put this out. It's amazing. You got to go watch it. Narration, movies, like the way it's filmed. He does you could also follow Monica. She's great. And CL Thomas, which used to be on the show. And, and sorry. And Sean, Chasing the Truth.
So
I love when they do that. Yes.
So are we not supposed to fear the Segador?
In the most respectful way, yes.
In the most respectful way, don't fear the Segador. It has a better ring when you say don't.
I would definitely go for the French route because of my route, but realistically, I mean, Segador was just like, hey, because I have a good friend of mine who's an artist who is known as cadaver, but that's corpse in Latin, and I was like, hey, I mean, if we want to keep the trend up, I'll do Segador because it's just Reaper, and I've always, with what I'm doing right now with my body and changing it up and doing a lot of things,
right,
nothing crazy, just working out, just before anybody thinks the worst. I am physically just, I'm taking care of myself now. I'm making myself a lot better. But it's like, I've always had that persona of like, I want to just, take my limits and be inspired by people who have influenced me, not just in real life, but also in the entertainment industry, and have encouraged me to say, hey, take better care of yourself, be who you want to be, explore who you want to be. The Instagram is just a fraction of it all, but really that's where I post my photos, my Gothic noir, and my Photoshop, my photo manipulation stuff. And I also, for my YouTube, Wickerstatic, or the TikTok Wickerstatic, the Twitter Wickerstatic, I only have 2 major social platforms I keep myself on, Facebook and Instagram. Everything else is just by the channels, because one, Twitter is Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And then TikTok, I feel, is better for the persona. I don't really, I mean, once I get to a certain point where I want to really where I'm at a nice weight, at a nice physique, and where I want to expand that a lot more. And I'm just being very open with that because I know a lot of people struggle with this mentally too. Hey, I have the opportunity to take it further. I like to explore and meet other people who have went through what I've went through in the last 23 years with my body. And let's see what I can do to help you. See what I can do to give you an extra day to think. Let's do the right thing here. You say don't fear the Segador, or fear, and for those out there who just love Blue Oyster Cult like me, you don't fear the Reaper.
Yep.
I mean, you could fear him. You could fear, the Reaper if you wish. Me, I'd say no. Make it happen. Yeah, fear him if you want. No,
Yeah,
don't fear him. He ain't gonna. I ain't gonna do nothing to you. I'm just
yeah,
gonna just talk to you.
let's make them happen for next year's halftime show as well.
Blue Oyster
Yeah.
Cult.
Yeah,
Oh heck yeah!
And Judas Priest. Don't even have the game. I'd rather just see those two bands
I
for
just
Super Bowl
love.
61.
The
Yeah,
Puppy Bowl looked pretty cool.
the Puppy Bowl
I'm
was
gonna say it.
adorable. I loved it. I watched it entirely to the beginning, and I have no problem admitting that I loved it.
Yeah.
Dogs are my best friend. Well, that's what they say, man's best friend, right?
Yeah, we have a new one. The asshole Labradoodle, otherwise known as the Australian Labradoodle.
Oh yeah, the Aussie
Pain in the
Labby.
ass.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he's fluffy. I've never in my life had a dog that is afraid of its own damn shadow. I kid you not. Scared
I've
out
ex-
of his
I-
mind. What's up, Hillbilly?
I've experimented with the cats with cucumbers, and it's real. It's legit. They freak
Really?
out. They spaz. I had my Maine Coon. It was a social experiment at best. All of a sudden, she's drinking water, and she turns her head. And she hits the fridge. I'm like, oh damn! I didn't realize that this was going to turn into that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think the beauty of animals and picking up instinct. We see this so much in paranormal. How so quick they are to know when there's an energy there. You brought up how like, hey, from XYZ, could there be an energy I manifest or what I want to
What are you
manifest? So
doing, Mark?
I want to be perfectly clear on this too, because I know
Yeah.
for some people out there that might, think it's expendable to go out and do that stuff. I have a lot of risk with it because I'll be damned, I'll be real and say, I don't want to get myself in trouble. I don't want to piss anything off because even for all I know, there could be squatters there. And how do I
Right.
not, there could be so many risks in doing this. And I want to do it with the best protection, whether I go in there with a prayer, I go in there with a little protection. If it's just safe to just do the tours, okay, so be it. But I do want to take an experience there where I'm by myself and I'm looking around and I'm like, wow, this is what Scarberry saw back in 66. This is, what Marcella Bennett was having, the thoughts of and the visions and stuff when she was having after her experiences with the Mothman and what all these other people, between 1966 and 67 were going about seeing. And Mothman has always stood out to me. It's kind of like this. It's like for me, in my interest, if my cryptid interest, it's going to be Bigfoot, Mothman, Loch Ness, Dogman, and then Chupacabra. But out of
Chupacabra.
the Chupacabra, Puerto
I
Rican
have
legend.
photos of a skeleton of a chupacabra that was from a place in New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Are you sure it's not me?
it's a chupacabra,
Okay.
and showed some people over at the conference. But yes, it is a chupacabra.
I do tend to shed skin, like I go through a molt like a tarantula, so it could always be me.
No,
That's-
you know what? Let me see if I can post one image and
That's
it
awesome, though,
wasn't
man. I didn't even know we had
filmed, man.
chuppies around here. That's crazy.
Well, I was alerted to it by a third party who acted as almost a liaison, and I was supposed to get an interview with them, and they backed out because they were. I think this is a while ago, but I think they were afraid of getting deported and
Okay.
seeing what's going on, and I didn't want to. So I understand,
Mhm.
What's going on, but I'm looking for it right now, and I never intended on showing that at this point. But let's
That is
let's
something
throw
to
some
think
chupacabra
about.
shit. Get some chupacabra crap.
Chris,
Speak.
when you visit Point Pleasant, don't forget you have two river valleys to explore,
Yeah.
and,
No.
and there are Mothman sightings up and down both river valleys. So it's not everything is just concentrated in one place. And the first sightings were actually down the Little Kanawha River.
there's so much, and that's part of the thing I was saying.
Or
And
the
hey, James,
Kanawha River. I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, it's funny because it's like it's that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the trip for a full week almost, is because it's like, hey, it's not just this one part that's been known for Mothman, but it's the rivers. It's also just the scenery all around. I know that he was spotted um
In Clendenin.
all over, and it's just one of those things where even now you hear all the stories. Another place I want to explore is that hotel, that paranormal hotel.
The Lowe's Hotel.
Lowe's. As I should know that because I have 1,000 Lowe's over by me, the shops. But like I should know the name automatically. But yeah, Lowe's.
Okay.
The same newspaper, the same place where the one journalist, had the MIB, in the Sprouts.
Mary.
Mary, I forgot her
Hire.
last name,
Hire.
but yeah, Mary Harrell, yeah. And it's just there's so much to it, the place, and it's one of the parts of me that presents my interest. I just like seeing. I've always wanted to take a look at that area alone and just think, wow, this is where all the stuff happened. And I even know it's not just even the Mothman, it's paranormal, MIB. If I'm not mistaken, I believe prior to the Mothman sightings, did the sighting with Indra Cold happen off the interstate, off in the area not too far from Point Pleasant. So I've always been curious about that story with Indrid Cold, and there's just a lot to it. And I do plan on documenting it, film, and writing it. So it's going to be two different verses. You have the video format, then you have the infamous written texture version. That's probably going to be like 80 pages. That's what I'm doing now for my novel is a novella. My other novels I have planned is going to be more of a full-on novel. But
So I found the chupacabra photo.
you found Chubby?
It's,
Okay.
I have three. It's 3 photos, but I'm going to only show
Chubby.
one right now.
Please.
The reason why is I'm going to get my ass. Last time I showed mutilated anything. By the way, if you get kicked off on Facebook, hey James, anybody on Facebook, if you get booted, like what the hell happened? They banned the freaking show because I'm going to show something right now. It's
how dare
it's an image of a skeleton of a chupacabra. So here he comes. And let's see what happens. And there it is. I can't make it bigger. But yes, and there's a close-up version of the mouth.
Yeah, that's not your normal zoological animal you find.
No, this is well before AI. This was well before AI.
Is that an outlet? I see to the left.
Yeah, it was uncovered. They were doing some work on the property, and they were trying to excavate, and this was found underneath. And he won't talk, but the person that went out there was like, "Yeah, chupacabra."
They have like out of curiosity, there was like anything like an odor or anything that they smelled prior, or no?
No, they weren't even they weren't even thinking of that something like this would be here, but
that's interesting.
Chupacabra. What's the cobra? Yeah, that's a Mike Tyson joke.
I always call it's funny. I always call them chupies.
Chupies.
Chupies. I'm like, because I have family in Puerto Rico, and they know about the chupacabra legend. They always call it chupi. And I was like, oh, chupi, and they
don't probably afraid that they're gonna come back or come at them.
Oh no, they seen the alien looking one. So I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but you speak of chupacabra, and my family's they seen a chupi once. It was back in '98, so this was going on almost 30 years. And my uncle, my tío, he was taking out garbage one night. He was in one of those rural parts of Puerto Rico, and my tia was just watching TV and just ignoring everything. And he was out doing whatever because he had a garage and stuff. And all of a sudden, he just sees like this thing of eyes just looking out in the yard and just staring at him, and like a porcupine's back, and thing got up on 2 legs and then just started like on all fours like quadruped, just fly like run off. And and it's funny because about a mile away, there's a farm. So you talk about the legend of the goat sucker, right? And you think, okay, well, he never said anything that, hey, I've seen it, no one around the area talk about, but maybe there was some further stuff that happened, other locals didn't want to talk about it because sometimes that does happen. I've had people, even in Dogman Bigfoot experiences, they'd rather talk to me as a firsthand and then not want to document it because they just don't want to deal with the blowback. So many people are afraid because, hey, and plus you got the religious side of it too, where, people might think, that these things might have some sort of vendetta. And they, if you
Yeah,
mention
I
them,
mean, here's the thing. Some people, especially in this day and age, they're putting demonic stuff in and other crap.
yeah,
I'm just going to say it that
I
way.
agree. Yeah.
And long before there was angels and archangels, and before God created the heavens and earth, the earth was void. And on it were other entities prowling on the earth, looking to ruin the soul of man. Okay? So that's why we say the Holy St. Michael prayer, because there are other things that have been here for a very long time, maybe part of God's experiment or diorama. And God said, well, no, I'm going to make a superior being. And man is technically the superior being, frankly. Even though the angels and archangels are not, some of them weren't happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Lucifer being one of them, who said, no, I'm not going to, no, Dad, no. That was the first, that was the fight with his parents. Like, no, Dad, I'm not, they can't even fly. They can't even do anything. But God created them and gave them free will. And they have the will to use all of this and eventually have the ability to fly and manipulate and use plasma that they can, create to levitate objects and do some crazy stuff.
They're shapeshifters.
Yeah. I mean, you could, so, but at this point, we're literally babies in the world, the universe. Angels have been around with God, and God created them, and God's right hand is Michael, and who created light? Let there be light. That was Michael's brother, Lucifer, who said, fuck you, I'm not doing it anymore. And that's, and then they got into, the whole, he said, she said, family shit. And it's been like that ever since, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying I'm supporting Lucifer in any way, shape, or form. I'm not. I support God.
No.
But if your dad said, no, your 15th removed baby sister or baby brother is more important than you, and you'd be like, what the fuck? What about me? What about me? I did everything you asked of me. They can't even do anything. I have to pick them up. They can't drive a car. They can't. So you would be, taken back by that and like, why? I'm older than them, 30 years old, like they're 2. I said, no, that's your job. They're more important than you. You get pissed and you do exactly what's going on. Hey, Casey. Thank you. We're going to have Casey on this Wednesday, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to keep promoting while I'm promoting. You're on the show. It's just everybody's coming in.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm not used to. I'm not. This is the first timer for us on a Monday, right, Mark?
I believe it is the first Monday show.
Tell me
But
why.
yeah, this is like the replacement for Monday Night Football.
Yes, tell me.
Normally for the wrestling fans, Monday Night Raw, but for those out there who are marks for it, I mean, I'm a journalist, so I have to. But that's why it's on Netflix. That's why I watch it after. So, no football. I mean, but
I'm a hockey guy, so
Chris, as you develop your writing career, who are the influences on you? Is it more the classical Dracula and Mary Shelley, Poe, or is it more the more recent horror writers like Stephen King?
Great question. And I also want to add that emphasis too to photography because there's some influential people there as well. Because it's also part of the storytelling I do, whether it's a vision or whether it's through literature. When it comes to the literature side, I genuinely just love anything that comes from, and I'm just going to go back to the Gothic phrase. It's Edgar Allan Poe, a little bit of Bram Stoker, a little bit of Stephen King, a little bit of Dean Koontz as well, James Patterson, um, even Stephanie Meyer, Hunger Games writer. It's just Jerry Spinelli, another one who's also a native in New Jersey. A lot of these I grew up with. S.S. Wilson, writer of The Outsiders. I really love all these different types of genre and these type of stories. I just kind of feel like for me, my main influence is going to have to stay with the horror ground. So a little bit of Edgar Allan, a little bit of Dean Koontz, some Stephen King. But a lot of my work too is I look at it like, hey, Stephen comes up with these crazy stories. I mean, the dude can talk about a water bottle that comes to life and tries to take out people and still somehow some way make it to the first page of the Wall Street Journal or whatever, the bestseller. And that's a big stance for me because I always want to think outside the box. I always think that what Stephen writes is a mixture of gratitude and fear because of what comes out of his mind and the fact that people can stick to that. Me, I'm huge with that. And it's one of the reasons why I explored photography a lot, whether it was just looking at just artists from modern day or just people who I follow so many people on social media, but like if we're talking like actual, people, I couldn't really tell you. I mean, there are some popular actors and actresses that have inspired me to pick up a camera, whether it's in film or photography. But it's also just the idea that in literature, going back to it, I think without those other avenues with inspiration, I don't know where I'd really sit back because I do put a lot of horror into my work. I feel there are other ways that doing it than just this typical, hey, you're getting chased by something, or hey, I hear a bang, or the Bigfoot pops out and rips apart my tent because that's been told a lot. But um, there's other ways of manifesting. It's just a matter of the crowd. And one thing I want to add on about Wickerstatic that I think is it's a big detail I left out is part of that writing. I take a look at what I've written from the 8th grade on to now as someone who's been out of the education system for about almost a decade completed. Um, and I just kind of think, hey, all my stories were either short or just unique, and I just put them together and write them out to be this big, longer thing. And I just do it through a doc, and I do it through that, and I make it work and just tell it. But I also tell it as if it's like a calm, casual kind of story. There's no effects. It's just my voice, and I speak a lot more fluent when I do say it. I can't do it now because I've been babbling for so long, but when you get me at a good time, I do a very casual, calm, relaxed voice, and it's kind of like, I guess for some people ASMR, but it's kind of what I'm going for. But I'm trying to build a different narrative while also trying to splice out shorts that are also telling, whether it's cryptid, paranormal, but also shorts that are also applied to real life. Like today, I did something with, not yet, the other day, I did something with the Friends on Nightcrawlers, or I did something with the Beast of Seven
Right.
Shoots last week. I did all of these different, things. But when you go to visit my main channel and when I do the main stuff, it's just me telling stories because I'm branching the different avenues between what is the horror side of it and the calm side of it, with also the real side of it, in which that's the cryptid researcher, that's the paranormal side of things. But obviously, in how Bryan knows me, I'm not going to sit there and just, not say it's not, this is nonfiction or
Mhm.
fiction. I'm definitely going to say that. So, Mark, I gave you a long answer and I'm so sorry, but I just wanted you to, just to go back to your question. Yeah, it's definitely huge Edgar Allan, Stephen King, Bram Stoker influence.
Yeah, yeah, it's what y- you're envisioning with your trip to Point Pleasant. It's the the real experiences really help you uh, to write better, which
Hmm.
connects with your audience. Yeah, the college professors that never leave the ivory tower. It's just all these theories, but once you try to apply them to the real world, uh, they don't work.
Hmm.
You know, if you come down, okay, you've been to Ohio recently, and you're planning on doing the um, Point Pleasant trip. That's just really connecting with the people and the the landscape, the scenery.
Right.
That's is going to leave an impression on you. It's just your job to transfer that your experiences to your readers. But that's the best kind of literature. Like some of the outer space stuff, only a few people have ever been there.
Yeah, well, that are aware they've ever been there. There are
Yeah,
plenty of people that have been abducted by a
yeah,
variety of different species, and some of them get to wake up and understand what's going on. But part of the, but I understand what you're saying, Mark. It's like something that people can do. This is why road trips are great. This is
yeah,
why way back when, 50s, 60s, 70s, people used to go on vacation. They used to go to the national parks. They get in the station wagon or whatever and drive out to the national park. That was their stay at a motel,
yeah.
whatever on the side of the
That's
road, some cheap
the
place.
Jack Kerouac book.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look at
No.
Hemingway was I mean, drunk, but a world traveler. His stories, it comes from that. Speaking of Point Pleasant and Mothman, do you know about the flying humanoids in Chicago?
Me or Mark? You asking this to?
Chris, I don't, Mark,
Um.
well,
I don't know a whole lot about.
Yes, I
okay,
do. Yes, I do know
yeah,
about Chicago. I will also credit Lon Strickler for that because of
yeah,
his map, because he
yeah,
did put out a map that I thought was pretty good documenting that. And I also read a lot of stuff, from just the secondhand story eyewitness accounts from a lot
right.
of the people talking. So yes, I am
It's
familiar with
very
Chicago.
similar to the Mothman in many ways, but also not. There's a really familiar essence to this cryptid or whatever it is that's flying around, Chicago, specifically near the airport and the FedEx terminal and,
That's
some of
interesting.
those areas.
Now, let me ask you another thing because you bring up, I do think that there are flying hominids besides the Mothman. I do think that there is
Yeah.
a misinterpretation. Another big one, for example, was Blackbird of Chernobyl back in 86 before Chernobyl's nuclear disaster. And then people, I guess, in certain parts of the UK and also in Ireland were seeing the Owl Man, which I guess was the more
Ooh,
three, woo, woo, like I guess he was turning his head 360 degrees to scare people because that was, the
that's
infamous
kinda
Owl
cool.
Man.
Mark can do that if you get him really mad.
I am convinced on a very good day we all can do that, especially if I have a Jolly Rancher or two, like
Just
I
start spinning your head.
need my brain to move a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
still stuck on you talk about, the guys having like one part, right? I think I'm like at
yeah.
one and a half. So
No,
I
you're
get like that.
definitely Hemi syncing your brain, bro.
I need to
It's
get that piece of
100%.
cheese in there.
Gotta feed the mouse.
Something with coils or something just
Yeah,
can't damage the piston head, or cylinder head. It starts rattling. Yeah,
yeah.
no, but I'll be honest with you guys. The whole experience for Point Pleasant is going to be it's going to be spiritual for me in a way too, because it's also an inspiration. I think that's kind of where it was headed because that's where, like I said, I want to come out with a book that said I left my heart in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And, I feel like that'd be a great fictitious explanation of what I experienced. Whereas in the video of it, that's the real experience. And, I want to document everything. I want to, go to the original bridge. I want to see the bridge now. I want to see how everything is. I just want to look at how, because One of the other big reasons why the Mothman's inclined to me, and this is a story I've never shared, and I'll make it quick. I don't want to hold no one up. Um, my grandfather knew a guy after he got out of the Vietnam War who sweared that he had seen this thing, and he had seen it at least an hour or two before the bridge collapsed on December 15th of 67. And my grandfather was finishing up reserves and everything because he was busy with Agent Orange in Vietnam. And this other guy had gotten discharged about a few months prior. He had just gotten through his PTSD for a little bit. And, back then LSD was huge. And
Yeah.
he told me, or he told my grandfather, sorry, one time that and this was, I think, in 71, too, it was definitely some time after. He said that, hey, because my grandfather was from Richmond, Virginia. So Virginia natives a little bit. This guy was from Point. He said, hey, the other day, about a year or so ago, something, I seen this thing and it looked like this flying hominid. They were talking about birds. This is how this conversation started. They were talking about cardinals and blue jays, and all of a sudden this thing about the Mothman. And they said, yeah, I saw this giant thing, this Black Hawk thing, red eyes, and it was bugging, it was looking. And then the creepiest thing about it, it was right by the bridge, the Silver Bridge. And then the bridge immediately, about an hour or two later, it collapsed. And all of a sudden my grandfather was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What was he on something? Maybe. I wasn't there. I was not even around. My existence was prelude by that point. But I will say, judging by the experience of what I was told secondhand, that it looked like the dude was probably suffering from effects of either chronic post-traumatic stress disorder. But see, at the same time, the creepy thing that he said about it was, and he mentioned, he said, like, he was on a hill when he's saying this, because where his house was at, and he had noticed this thing just kind of circling around. But because of the traffic flow at that time, because of the rush hour beginning, that I don't think either people could have seen it or told. There have been stories accounted 1,000 times that people said they had seen it before the bridge collapsed. And then also, too, the fact that a trucker who was pushing through right before the bridge collapsed through Ohio said they seen the bird just fly right under their truck. I don't necessarily know what is validity to it. All I just know, that was just another story for the books. And that's one of the stories I wanted to tell Jeff at the museum and say, hey, my grandfather knew someone who apparently seen it right before the collapse. And, he described the bang. It sounded like a nuclear explosion. So, it's something. It's something.
The problem you have in stories like this is if people are consuming psychedelics, even though it's been proven and they're slowly moving it into mental health related issues.
Correct.
Correcting those.
Yeah.
It still becomes a suspect thing. I was part of an organization, no longer, that have people listed as scientists, and none of them are scientists.
That's interesting.
And yeah, and I'm like, and then one of them is listed as also as a pet or an animal psychic. And I will tell you this, if you come into academia and you're known as an animal psychic, they're going to laugh your ass out of the building. They don't play that game. They don't do it. And it's not science. Being psychic is not scientific. Just going to throw it out at you. So what I said to the person that was in control of the group, I said, you realize that people are wearing tinfoil hats to begin with. Mm-hmm. And now you want to have a special group that are wearing another tinfoil hat on top of their tinfoil hat. Not a good look. If you're trying to present yourself as a professional, scientists in your science team should be made up of actual scientists.
Always.
But I digress. So I said, bye. I mean, like, you can't be associated with stuff like that. This is why I've always been, I do my own research. I've worked with others, mm-hmm. and I'm very good at working with others. But I've called it out when someone's trying to push bullshit. I've called it out, and I'm like, dude, I was there. And what you said, none of that shit happened. You may want to pull that down.
Tone it up a little bit.
How close a friend you are. You try to bullshit people, and I'm part of it. I will call you out immediately because my name, my reputation, my research, whatever it is, that's all I have. And I don't fake anything. Okay? Not a thing. Yeah, I have abilities. And I really wish people would remember that I'm a researcher and investigator primarily first before I'm, able to do certain things. Do I use it on investigations? 100%. Yeah, as Mickey said, having gifts isn't always fun. It's not.
Absolutely not. No.
I just had this conversation the other day because of all the crap that's going on, and I don't watch movies anymore, and I don't support individuals that are even associated with all this dark and nasty stuff that's going on.
Mhm.
And it really sucks because I know too much. And sometimes I really wish my head was still buried in the sand and I didn't know what I knew. But I will not support people that are remotely hinted at having something to do with an island and children and that. No, not going to do it. So that's why I don't, I'm tired of the political BS on all this stuff.
Mhm.
I don't like liars. Did I ever lie in my life? Yeah, everybody has. Before I changed my direction, I wasn't the great, wonderful person I am today. And I made a choice. I got to a crossroads, like Mark's at right now. I'm just going to throw you under the bus, Mark. Mark can either go to the left and join a biker gang and be a 1%er, or Mark can continue writing academic books. He's at that point. But it was similar to doing really, really bad shit. And you look back on things and you're like, holy crap. If I keep this up, I'm going to be in dead or in jail. So what do? You make the choice. And I'll tell you straight up, I'm not a goody two-shoes. I don't lie. I don't have time for lies. We don't have time left for lying and bullshitting at all. I'll be really, like do you remember back in the days, Mark wouldn't know this because you didn't get into the cryptid stuff or whatever it is, but they would some guy would show you like a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, what do you think of this?
Oh, massive.
Dog man playing guitar with Keith Richards, some fucking crazy claim. And you look at it and it's like, it's a blob. Or it's some kind of real evidence, some kind of evidence. And you're like, well, I mean, it kind of could be, but it's pareidolia. So what we used to do is I was tired. Like you asked me for an opinion. So I'm going to give you an opinion. And then when you have a problem with the opinion I give, then you give me shit and start with me. Well, I got 2 words for you, not happy birthday. So now what I do, I just tell people straight up, there's not enough information to make a correct answer or something to that along that line.
And I'll just add on to that. I've had people straight up come at me multiple times to say, hey, you're a little effed up for, feeling that you don't agree with on that. I was like, well, would you rather me tell you the BS you to make your agenda feel great? And then I come back and say you're full of this, and then the rest is history. It's one of the reasons why I look at some of these reports and I think, if this is really the case, then why was it taken and filmed on a toaster? Why does it look like it's something that doesn't look so authentic? Because it doesn't have to be authentic. If I had seen 1,000 tree stumps, I'd seen them all. And I will be very real on one thing, because this isn't to ridicule nobody. This isn't to insult anybody who's had those kind of photographs. But I do want to emphasize this strongly and say this, that some photographs are taken a certain way because A, adrenaline, B, the circumstances. I don't think anybody has enough time to take a good picture of a bear if it's charging at you or staring you down And then, especially when you see a Bigfoot, a 7 to 8 foot creature, possible
Dude.
dog man 9 feet, you know you're screwed. Everybody's got different Brents, and that's the truth. But there are a certain percentage that do take some interesting photos, and they're either too blurry to be true, or they're too controversial to be seen. And then the thought process of AI, because now anybody can take a picture and say, hey, was this AI made? I see narrators use AI photos to tell their stories and try to lace it off
That's
as
fine.
legitimacy.
And I'll tell you what, AI does make it easier for someone. I prefer you to hire a graphic artist. I'm gonna say it straight up, right? I'm a graphic artist. And I prefer that because you're employing somebody that's going to take care of, whatever they got to take care of, whatever. But AI has made it to, to a point where you can write some stuff in there and it'll create something for your narration on an episode. But to use it in a graphic novel or some other place, I mean, I know a lot of people that are were and still are actual Marvel and DC comics and independent artists.
Mhm.
Okay, I went to school with them. One of my favorite persons in this planet. What a great man he was and great guy is Hector Collazo. Unfortunately, Hector passed away, which really freaking hurt a lot. That was just such a bad day. It was like 42 years old. But I mean, at one point, if I needed something, I would have been like, Hector, this is what I got. I want to do a graphic novel. Are you interested? And we'll just, I'm always 50-50 for the most part. Like when I write songs, a buddy of mine, whoever writes comes with the project, their name goes first. Right? So if it was, Mark and me writing songs, but Mark brought the song and we both finished it, it would be Eddy Bowden. But if I brought it, it would be Bowden Eddy. And that's how it works. I mean, it used to be Lennon and McCartney, but some Lennon or McCartney, I mean, Paul wrote a shitload of it. Paul and John were writing a lot of it, but there's a lot of times each one of them got credit for shit they didn't even do. And it's very equitable. And then down the line, when you get females involved, no offense, ladies, I love the females. That's why 99% of the guests on our show are beautiful women. That's what we do.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes. I don't take it the wrong way, boy, but I don't want to talk to you for 2 hours as much as I want to talk to,
Oh, that's
a
okay.
charming, lovely lady.
I respect your
and I'm sure Mark would agree with me. Nod your head knowingly. Are you okay? Mark,
Yeah, it's just a way to balance the me with the female guest and your overpowering masculinity with all the facial hair.
No, it's equal. Mark and I are very handsome men, and they love us. The problem is Mark can't do the beard. We're working on it.
That's okay. Mine has to turn into a chin strap because it gives up. But I understand that.
Mark, you can't even get the, it's really funny.
Not like your rock star beard, right? Is that what that is?
The ZZ Top look.
I loved when it puffed out, like during hockey season when I wouldn't shave it, it would puff out, and you got that Appalachia, I was just anything from moonshiners calling my daughter Pickle or something. Like, yo, Pickle, come on, Pickle. And she's like, can you stop fucking calling me Pickle?
That's definitely the guy that I want to burn garbage with on a midnight hour for sure.
Yeah, it was but it's we when you add women into the mix on the Lennon McCartney thing, they whoever's your girl is going to be like, well, you're so much better than them, and they egg you on, and then they see it in a different light, and that causes fucking problems too, and it usually ruins friendships. That's why you should, I mean, it's tough, like, thanks for your opinion. And then if you don't take their work, like, I thought you loved me, how you just don't trust me anymore, it opens up to more bullshit, and that's a whole different type of show. We don't want to do that here. I mean, some of the best people I've ever investigated with, and I know in this field, are women. There's a bunch in here now. There's a bunch out of Missouri.
I'm impressed with Natalie.
Natalie is very impressive, and you wouldn't guess it because she's only like 3 feet tall. Only joking, Natalie. She's coming on too. Yeah, Natalie is very impressive. Everybody's taking our fucking guess before we get to get them. This is just bullshit right here. Sorry, Chris. No. I don't play the he said, she said, or the East Coast, West Coast rap game. But right. Sometimes, depending on how you were, what I was trying to get to is sometimes you get so fired up in shit, and then you put that this is going to be the hill I die on, and you've been misinformed about shit, and then that breeds a bigger event, and it's like it's a hard thing to do, but when you fuck up, sometimes it's like, yeah, I fucked up. I'm sorry. It sucks. I mean, when you got your tail between your legs, I sometimes some people will be like, told you so, you're such a dick, why did you keep doing? And it's like, listen, yeah, Natalie is amazing, Mickey. But it's like, look, dude, I admitted I was wrong, I fucked up, and I want to move on from there. That's it. And real men will be like, okay, I got it. And they'll get, there's a lot of this bullshit. I just don't want to, I don't want to get involved in.
That's fair.
Mark and I we don't roll with colors. Like, we're biker gang, but we don't have colors. We don't have bottom rockers.
I was in a biker club, so I think it's kind of ironic you bring that up.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Like an outlaw biker club or one of the crotch rocket clubs?
Well, it was definitely a 2% crotch rocket for sure. But I mean, I was ready to switch over to the 1%. I was getting to that point, and then life happened. But I still have that visionary. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be fair with you, but I had to get rid of my chopper, unfortunately. So there's that. But
well, it is what it is, and it's great. I want to see Mark on a chopper.
One thing I will say though, and this is
see Mark on a chopper wearing dirty freaking Levi's and just a leather vest, no shirt, with that 1-2 hairs there,
pure leather,
and sunglasses. Like, move the fuck out of the way, motherfucker. Yeah,
well,
that's the next image coming out.
In the before we did the show with Abby last week, was telling her that I had been to the St. Nectan's Glen that she's hoping to get to, and showing her photos and stuff. But my first, I think it's my first and only cycle ride in.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
In England was from St. Nectan's Glen to the camping place, and
he was a backpack.
Yeah. So I had that, like kind of on me,
but he was
uncomfortable, but I had to take it with me. But that was my bicycle or motorcycle trip, for a few miles in England. And so Abby hasn't done that yet. So
I was supposed to be picking up an Indian a couple months ago. And
what happened?
Not the big chief. It's just, well, I was gonna pick up an Indian, and then I think it's a Scout, and that brand new, love the fucking bike. I mean, you could like totally, get it jacked up and pay like 10 grand on it. There's nothing, brand new with a warranty. And then I was going to go with something a little bit more with stability. And I had a line on a Can-Am, used 25,000 miles. which is not bad. Can-Am has the front 2 wheels and then the rear wheel in the back. It's not really it. I mean, real bikers look at you like some of the older people are now getting to the Can-Ams because they don't have to worry about bending or turning. It's a little bit more safe and stability. I was going to do it because my youngest daughter take her to school, and she'd feel a little more comfortable in that than an Indian. I love Harleys, but I love older Harleys. The new stuff is garbage, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, no,
So-
anything before 2010, I think, for Harleys is probably authentic. I know what you're saying about the side ones because I had a few buddies that did that too. I just like to, bend and move and slide, a little swerve there and there. They are dangerous, don't get me wrong, but I mean,
Oh, you can tip the fucking 3-wheelers too. You can screw
oh,
you because you think you can overdo it and you can't. But dude, the Indian that I was looking at was just sweet as shit. Sorry.
beautiful, beautiful bikes. No, I did not know this part of us. Interesting.
Yeah. I've wanted a motorcycle since I was 5 years old. My grandfather, he used to have motorcycles, and it was and it's like, oh, I'll get you. He had everything. He was using the up in Canada, not Ohio, Canton, Ohio. And he was just amazing. So I'm just like,
God bless.
here,
No.
I'm gonna share this because this is where I was gonna go. It's a lot less weight than the Big Chief, but I was gonna do the Scout.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, and
Starting
you
at
could really,
9,099. Nice.
it's only, I mean, you can really, the Bobbler is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fatter tire, especially in
My buddy has that one, the 60 Classic.
yeah, it's a beautiful bike, and you can pop on a shield, and it's just, I mean, it's really cool. And look at that, it's only 12 grand,
See, and just think during the Super Bowl, you get Rob Halford ride out on stage on one of those.
you maniac?
Okay. Yeah, that's something right there.
Yeah, that would be fun. He
Hey,
can come out and sing Turbo Lover.
One of these days, maybe we can all reenact Easy Rider. Who knows? We can just go out and, take a stroll into the world. I mean, I rode mine from Dayton to Homer, Alaska. So it's
Wow,
yeah. There was
a road trip.
That was
That's
a
a long
trip.
fucking trip.
That was crazy. It was not fun. That was a lot of miles, and even for me, I was like, yeah, no. And I was a prospect at the time, so yeah, there was a reason why I did it. But I'm just kidding. It was scary. It was scary as hell, though. When I was riding the one time from Dayton to Homer, but it was worth it. It was worth it. It was so worth it. And that's you bring up the earlier adventure, right?
Right.
That's part of it. Go out and do things like that, to go out and test your brain. There's one thing I'm still learning to do better, and that's simply flying. I am scared of flying. I'm not going to lie. I know it's a very common trend. I just happen to see all these videos of, people getting
Yep.
crazy stuff happening with their planes, like a Boeing. And, I just kind of feel like, yeah, I'm just going to stick to my 2 wheels of death and perhaps my 4 wheels of death and go from there and pray
Yeah.
for the best. But yeah.
Well, that's what we do here. We just, there was a better movie called Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man with
Mickey Rourke. Mickey
and,
Rourke. Yeah.
Don Johnson, it was good.
Classic.
But
That was a classic, but
and then you have the classic book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Great book. But our time has come and go, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I appreciate you being on here.
Dude, seriously.
All of Chris's links for what he has now and in the future they're going to be in the description of this show. And Chris is a friend of the show, and he's a great guy. Please go check out his
Seriously.
content on Instagram and YouTube. Get his books. You know, where else can people, like, if they want to contact you and get you on the show besides Mark Eddy Promotions, because he's definitely going to whore you out.
All right. Well, let's backtrack. So first and foremost, people, thank you guys so much for taking the time for me to babble and, you know, give me a chance to be talking with you guys. You know, Bryan, Mark, thank you. That means so much to me to be doing this. Don Goucher. But like, you know, the beauty of where you're going to find me, Mr. Mason. Well, I've got Wickerstatic on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok as well for that. The link tree, of course, you guys can take a look at. It'd be great. I have everything there. My Instagram, from TikTok, YouTube, all of it. My portfolio for my art, you know, if you want to take a look at that. And, you know, one other thing is that I always tell people is that I don't know everybody here completely directly, the people watching. I've seen the guest appear, like, you know, everyone popping in and stuff, but I always tell people, hey, you know, just keep doing you, love your life, enjoy yourself. Me,
Yeah.
I'm focused on my life right now. I have no time for anything crazy like a relationship, but I do. The only relation, I have to be real with you, the only thing that I'm in love with right now is just myself, taking care of myself and enjoying myself, and, you know, going out and just getting ready to explore the rest of this world. I mean, we've got Point Pleasant coming up. I want to do in the summer, or possibly around the Mothman Festival.
Right.
And I also want to, you know, get together with you guys eventually and, you know, see how everything is and take a look at what everybody else is doing. But yeah, man, no, thank you all so much for giving me the opportunity to be doing this and talking with y'all. And also too, just, you know, shooting crap. You know, it's been so long since I've done a Monday night show with someone. So that meant so much to me. genuinely means so much to me.
Well, everybody in this chat is really super great, and they're good people. Some of them have their own shows, and you may be getting a call. It's been a pleasure reconnecting, you know, getting you out, and you are one of the special guests that were at 8 p.m., but we're going to try to do 3 p.m. now in the afternoon, which is kind of hard, but can't thank you enough. Mark Eddy, I can't thank you enough for being back here. Speaking, by the way, when you were talking about Abby, I'm supposed to be on a show. She had to cancel due to something that came up, and we're just going to send some prayers, healing, recovery, blessings her way. She's dealing with something, so I just wanted to say that. So if you guys in the chat, if you could just send a prayer for Abby.
Of course.
Everybody's dealing with something. I know Mickey, Mickey, you've had enough last couple of days, and I'm praying for you and Brandon right there too. Hopefully something cool will happen and things will give, and, you know, when we all get a better world than before. But I can't thank you enough, buddy, for being on.
Yeah, and you know, you guys have an amazing bunch of people. Everybody here has a vision, just like me. And guys, keep going. And thank you so much. This meant so much to me. And Bryan, of course, will be in contact. And Mark, of course,
Definitely.
you know, will be in contact as well. So thank you guys. Seriously,
We'll keep talking.
for sure.
Yeah. Mark will,
For sure.
Mark is a freaking marketing promo guy, genius. Mark Eddy Productions. The only thing I really wish, you know, we had some, you know, we got the numbers up and we got to the point where we're getting something. I don't want to be controlled by anybody. So if we don't get it, but I'd love to get a sponsorship. We're working on some certain things. Try to sponsor this show, and it'd be nice to be able to, you know, give Mark some, you know, like, we do fun things and just, you know, make some money off of it. So who knows?
The wheel is always turning.
Yes, it is. But everybody have a blessed night. I know it's the start of Monday, but Mondays suck, and Tuesdays are just as bad. No, only talking that Stormy Monday. You know, this great blues song, and we're gonna be possibly doing some blues with Casey Murphy this Wednesday. A blues musician, lots of weird stories. I saw him on BMR show, and then BMR saw him on Josh Turner's show, and, you know, he's just really a spiritual individual. So check us out this Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. We have much love for you all. Mark, any other final words before we say goodbye and we play my favorite song, which I wrote? which
Oh,
my daughter gives me shit for.
thanks, Chris. It was nice meeting you, and look forward to talking with you again. And appreciate so many people, uh, tuning in on a night when we usually aren't doing a show.
Yeah.
That,
So
just really a very supportive group of people. Okay, I'll shut up and I'll see everyone on Wednesday.
I'll see you on Wednesday. But that's it. Have a great night. Sweet dreams, everybody. And like we always say, if it wasn't for you guys and you, well, you couldn't do it. So
You, it's always been you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I've seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you. True love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. I love you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I have seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you, true love is you. Love is you, true love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you.